So one of the important things, especially with a vehicle like the Ridge, where we've manufactured the whole thing from scratch, the body's completely bespoke, is trying to work out how the layout works, the ergonomics, how usable it is. So we've got away and used it a few times before it's been finished, which has been really helpful. One of the main things we discovered was the table. So it's a twin leaf table, folds out on some centre hinges, which makes a lot of sense because it means you can get around the table, you can use the table and then open it up to make it a bigger space. So there's a few little changes we want to make, which I'll show you now. One of which is what it's made from. So I'll show you now. So this is the table. We made it out of bamboo, which we do quite a bit of bamboo, bamboo ply. It looks really nice. It's really durable. So there's no complaints there really, other than the fact we've used quite a bit of walnut furniture in the truck itself, and the bamboo seems a little bit out of place. So as you can see, the table opens up, so it does make a lot of sense. You can make a big table when you want it. When you're just sat there with a cup of tea, lounging about, you can close it up and get around it. The table is slightly too big, so we're on a motorised pedestal here, so we are restricted on how small we can go because we've got the framework underneath. But found it's slightly too big, some sharp corners on the inside, which obviously when you open up would have a radius in there, but I think that's going to be better. And it does just look a bit out of place. So we've decided to go for walnut, a slightly thicker walnut. I've got it rough sawn in, and I'll show you the process on how we're going to look at making that now. We're also going to end up putting a little bit of an inset in, potentially some logo, just see how we get on, and make it slightly smaller, just slightly more usable, so when you're getting in and out of these pinch points here, it just makes a bit more sense. So we'll go now and I'll show you how we're going to make the new one. So this is the walnut. This came on a 3-metre plank, rough sawn. So black American walnut, really, really nice actually. So this comes as rough sawn. We could only get 200mm width, which we needed a 400 for the centre section of the table. So these have been biscuited and end joint. They've just had a little sand down. They have been through a thicknesser. But what we're going to do is we're going to machine out each 3 leaves from here, and what we'll do then is we'll run a surfacing bit over the top on the CNC, which should then get it nice and flat before we machine out the surface mounted hinges. It's a bit of a different video, this one, but I thought it might be quite a nice thing just to follow through from start to finish. We'll show you on the computer how we design it all, what's going to look like in the truck on the visualization, and then the insights, the insets, and potentially the logo that we're gonna put in there, what that's going to look like and how we set the tool paths for that. And then we'll show you how it's machined, how we finish it up. You know, the whole process really, which might be interesting, might not be, but we'll see. Okay, so this is what we've been working on for about 5 years. We've removed all of the truck data itself, so we have the 3D model of the Ford Ranger that it's built on. We got rid of that, it sort of makes it quite a large drawing, which for this we don't need. So in here, as you can see, this is the body itself for the Ridge. We've removed the near side wall panel so we can have a little look in. This is the table that we are looking at making here. We've got some joints in here so we can see. So this is how the table folds, you can see, and they both fold in like this. Do the same with that. So set -180. So that's how it looks with the table shut. So fairly similar to how it was with the bamboo table, but we've added in some radius detail here and a slightly bigger chamfer on the corners here, and then also with the black infill and hinges, which I think will just look nicer, and it goes, I'm sure you'll agree, with the rest of the truck, which is quite handy. So what we need to do is we need to export this 3D model into our 2D software, so it'll allow us to do the tool paths. Can actually do it in Fusion if we wanted to, it's quite advanced. We do some of the more complex 3D machining, when we make our mounts for the roof vents, etc. When we're machining with a radius bit, round over bit, and we're trying to do detailing, stuff like that, then Fusion's great for that. However, for something quite simple like this, we'll just export it over to our 2D software, which I shall do that now, and I'll show you what it looks like in the software. Okay, so that's the centre section of the table. Has now been surfaced on both sides. We brought it down to about 20 mil from about 27, so we did quite a few passes, but well, weight really, but also I think it's quite, we worked with 15 mil furniture board. Didn't really want a massively thick table. It might just look a little bit out of place in a small space in a overland like that. So we've brought it down to 20 mil. So now we've just got to do the two leaves now to get that down to 20 mil and match that thickness. You can then reload it back on the CNC and run the tool paths for the insets and the hinges and the actual cutout itself, which we'll show you now. Okay, so that is the table machined. We've got it, I've got one hand, so ignore the screws, it's a Sunday, and I don't have any black screws. So I've just put them in just to test it to make sure, and it is looking pretty awesome. It's put radius on all the edges. So the only thing we've got left to do is to do the polyurethane or MS polymer, I'm not quite sure yet, the inlay in here, which we'll apply using a gun, and then we'll remove it mechanically, flush, and then sand it all back. So just got to take all the hinges back off now, do that, prep the adhesive inlay, finish all that off, give it a coat of, give it a sand, and then give it a coat of varnish or oil. Not quite sure what we're going to go with yet, because we want to try and match the cabinetry in the truck itself. So I'll leave it there for a minute, and I'll show you what it looks like once it's done. Cool, so that's the table machined. We've got all the insets done. Looking a bit dull at the moment because we haven't done anything with it. It's just been sanded back flush and cleaned up. I think it looks really good actually, to be honest. We've now just got to give it a final sand, get it nice and flat, get it nice and smooth, and then we're going to varnish it. So next video will be us varnishing probably, and then we can show you the final result and get it in the truck and see what it looks like. But yeah, really happy with how it's turned out. Okay, so that's it. That's the table finished. It's all in and installed, and it looks awesome. It really does match the walnut we've got on the furniture boards. Opens up like that. I feel like the new size with the cutaways really does make it easier to get in and out. This does slide, and it does go up and down on the motorised table, so you can get it into position to get it out the way if you're not using it, or in the way if you want to use it as a table. Folds in and out. I feel like the size of it closed, really convenient when you sat there using it. Nice size, just put cap on or whatever, and then if you're going to eat on it, or you know, you can open it up and use it as a proper size table. The more eagle-eyed viewers might notice as well, we've changed this. So we bought in another bit of walnut to replace this. We were going to do this in vinyl to match, but actually this black American walnut was so nice and it did really match the walnut used in the rest of the furniture, that I thought it might break up that area, a bit less beige, add a bit more character and a bit of sort of high-end quality to it, and it is really nice to touch, and it's really hard wearing, obviously, probably more so than the vinyl would have been as you're climbing over, etc. So I think it looks really nice. Really glad I've done that. And again, table, yeah, really happy to replace the bamboo. I think it was the right choice. Thank you very much for watching that. Hope it wasn't too boring. Just give you a bit of an insight to one of our processes, and just an idea on the sheer amount of time it takes just to make one simple component on a bespoke project like this as we're developing the product. We're going to try and do a bit more of this on different bits. Let us know if you've got any ideas on any of the processes you'd like to see, and we'll see what we can do. Get some videos to show it. Cheers.